What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. If you joined me yesterday on the channel as we announced that an election has officially been called in Canada, it's important to start highlighting some of the information moving around because, again, censorship is going to be massive during this election campaign. Even though very short, the Liberals will be doing everything in their power to ensure that the message isn't getting out there, that the information isn't getting out, that everybody's elbows up and pro Team Canada, which is actually Team Liberal. I'm not going to get into all that. We've talked about it to great extent. What I want to highlight today is Danielle Smith's warning to Canadian voters, not just to Albertans, but Canadian voters in general, that this is the most important election of our lifetime. This country sits at the precipice of its future, essentially. I don't know how else to put it, but it's success or failure in future. Many believe that if Mark Carney is to win the next election, the next federal election on April 28th, that you will start to see an uprising in Alberta, that you're going to hear a lot of people talking about separation. All over social media, you're hearing people saying, whether it's 51st state, whether it's just separation from Confederacy, Albertans are going to start pushing back. They'll have had enough. And I'm starting to see a lot of people pushing out on that. Again, we ran a poll last week, 4,000 votes on the poll, roughly 50% voting in favor of Alberta separation. It's scary to think that Justin Trudeau and his Liberals have divided this country so much that while the idea of Alberta secession had floated around for decades, and it was just nothing more than a small murmur in the province, now it's turned into a loud cry for help as Albertans are sick and tired of losing their ability to provide for their families, losing their livelihoods. They're not able to get their products to market. They're not able to make an honest living because they're being gouged and pushed down by the federal government. Let's take a look at what Danielle Smith had to say. Of course, during her speech here, she vows to double Alberta's oil and gas production, slams Ottawa's energy caps, and demands federal respect. Quote, "We will not let Ottawa stand in our way. Alberta is done being landlocked and taken advantage of." Again, this speaks to separation. A lot of people say, well, you can't separate Alberta. You're landlocked anyways. You can't move your products forward. Well, Danielle tends to have a good relationship with current U.S. President Donald Trump. I don't see any issues with getting our product to market if Alberta were to talk about separating from the rest of Canada. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
We will not let Ottawa stand in our way. So, the new Prime Minister needs to listen up and hear what I have to say. Alberta really does want to be part of Team Canada as we navigate these tariff issues with the United States and beyond. But we need Team Canada to be on Team Alberta. And this is what that means. Scrap the oil and gas production cap today. Get rid of Bill C-69, the No New Pipelines Act, today. Scrap the insane electric vehicle mandates and federal electricity regulations right now, and approve oil and gas pipelines and transportation corridors through BC, the north, and to the east coast, and guarantee that neither the federal government nor any other province will block Alberta from the ports and pipe that we need to get our resources to market.
Absolutely amazing. This woman, for as long as she wants to run in office, will have my vote. I think Danielle Smith is an absolute gem for Alberta. She's essentially almost as good as Ralph Klein. I don't want to say as good as Ralph Klein because nobody's better than King Ralph, let's be honest. At least nobody's shown me as of yet they're better than King Ralph, but Danielle, very close second. I think she wouldn't be offended by that. At least I would hope not. We'll have to find out the next time she wants to stop by on the channel. Now, keep in mind, this speech was given during an event in Edmonton where Danielle was seen having record support from voters. Edmonton, mostly an NDP stronghold, especially as of late with Naheed Nenshit coming into play for the next provincial election. But Danielle, of course, showing what it takes to be a good leader. She's gaining ground. I wish her well. Hopefully she's able to work with Pierre Poilievre, should he become prime minister. I used to say when. I'm still hopeful he will. Again, watch yesterday's video. I break it all down there as to what we got to watch out for. But of course, Danielle Smith making it very apparent again during this same speech that it's the same thing I've said on this channel, that this is the most important election of our lifetime. Let's take a listen to this clip and then we'll discuss.
Co-extremist former Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault is still in cabinet. But that shouldn't surprise any of us, given that the new Prime Minister is a whole new level of climate zealot and eco-extremist. From his decades-long push for net zero banking that sought to make it impossible for banks to invest in oil and gas, to his promise now to massively increase carbon taxes on our industry, make no mistake, he wants to eviscerate our oil and gas industry. It's right in his book. In Canada, our national identity, unity, our freedom, and our future are at a monumental crossroads. It is likely that soon Canadians will be headed to the ballot box to be able to vote in the most pivotal federal election that we have had in our lifetimes. Co-extremist.
So she's absolutely right. And this is why I've said it's important. Like, even if you're in Alberta, British Columbia, and one of those provinces where you feel that your vote doesn't matter. I hear it all the time. What's the point? Why should I go and vote? We're not going to vote our way out of this. I've heard many people saying that. Humor the Fringe. Go get your card. Make sure in this election you're voting. Alberta is predicted. Now, again, I don't trust polls. I don't trust surveys or mainstream paid prostitutes. But they're reporting now that Alberta stands to gain some NDP seats in the next federal election in the House of Commons. This is crazy. Alberta is a mostly blue province. We need to make sure that everyone is accounted for in this election, that everybody turns out. Keep in mind, most of our federal elections, there's usually a 30-some-odd% turnout in our elections. 33 to 38% of people decide who is going to pass policy that affects your life moving forward. I want to see those numbers change. I want to see voter turnout at an all-time high. I want to see lineups. I want to see people doing their due diligence to make sure they cast their ballot. And when it's all said and done, if it goes the other direction, I will happily pledge right now that I will jump on that bandwagon, that the vote doesn't matter, that there's no point in going ahead, that you can't vote your way out of the problem. But just stick with the Fringe for a little naivety between now and April 28th. Let's hope for the best, and let's make sure we're doing our part. Encourage anybody you're around. I don't care who they're voting for. Make sure they're getting out and actually casting a ballot. This isn't about who the party is voted in or who's voting for who. This is about voter turnout. We want to see people doing their job as Canadians. If the people speak and they elect a party that we're not in favor of, well, at least we can say, hey, people came out in their masses. They did their jobs. They did what they were supposed to do. They've spoken. That's what living in a democracy is supposed to be all about. I know many people will say, well, Fringe, we don't live in one anymore. Let's try it out one more time. One more time, guys. Whatever it takes. Let's get it done. Pierre for Prime Minister. Let me know what you guys think. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure, again, if you haven't already and you're watching this video, click that subscribe button. The suppression is going to be massive during this election. Any channels you follow on social media right now, make sure you subscribe, turn on your bell for all notifications. Make sure you join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show, where I'll be joined by my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, as we go back and forth throughout everything that's happened this week in politics, everything that's happened in the election campaign so far, and hearing what you have to say with the greatest YouTube community on this platform. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Keep in mind, I'll be doing a surprise live stream this Tuesday, as well as I'm leaving Calgary. It'll be a final stream from Calgary before we head for Spruce Grove, where our Friday Night Fringe show will be broadcasting from our new home in Spruce Grove this Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central for both streams here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.